So hello everyone and welcome and thanks for joining for our webinar Advice from Alumni South Korea edition. So my name is Kim and I'm a student service coordinator Seoul from TEAN. Today I'm joined by some of our amazing alumni to share more about what you should know before studying abroad in South Korea. Also, with us today from TEAN is Sarah Warren, one of our senior regional directors. She's monitoring the chat will be and dropping helpful links along the way, as well as answering any question you put in the chat room. So feel free to drop them anytime. She was one of our experts on all things South Korea. So before we hear from our alumni, let's take a quick look at all that South Korea has to offer. Why we love South Korea? The food, of course. So exploring South Korea savory cuisine, one dish at a time. From the kimchi to bibimbap, your taste bud will be left wanting more. In Korea, it is commonly believed that food and medicine come from the same place, and that food considered to be the best medicine. So like if you're sick, you should eat, or if you eat well, then you won't be sick. So if you love food, you will also love South Korea. The art and fashion. So whether you're looking for a new feed, exploring the home of your favorite K-pop group, or adventuring around a historical temple, South Korea offers it all. Seoul is a shopper's paradise with endless district to check out, the Myeongdong, Dongdaemun, or Hongdae, which is like really popular to our students. So hoping to run into your favorite idol after a day of shopping. So be sure to spend some time checking out some entertainment companies such as Hive or JYP with a chance to see like TXT or Twice. Curious to learn about like the traditional of the South Korea. In Busan, you can experience some of the most iconic temples the country has offer, like Haedong Yeonggungsa Temple or Bamasa Temple. And nature, eager to get out of the city, experience all the nature wonders South Korea has to offer. In Busan, explore all the jaw-dropping gems like Hangryang Mountain, Taejongdae Park, or Jangsan Mountain. Whether you're looking to chill at the beach or hike the scenic the trail or adventure around the volcano, you can experience it all in South Korea. So technology, like hoping to rank in this summer, you look no further than like South Korea. One of the most iconic cities in the world for esports, South Korea Gamers Paradise. With Genji, one of the world's leading esports organizations located in Seoul, access all the insider tips for some of your favorite esports like League of Legends or like Overwatch. Planning to boost your resume and like tech skill, dive into the business and engineering world like South Korea with leading multinational organization LG, Samsung, and Hyundai based in South Korea capital city. You bounded to expand your skill set exposure to organization like this. And let's talk about the city options. So with two cities, there is something for everyone in South Korea. So one of the cities is Seoul, being the Seoul is the second largest metropolitan area in the world and an epicenter of the Korea's government and economy. Seoul offers all. Experience the world of K-pop and esports in the place where it's the most popular. And the second city is like Busan. Busan is the second largest city in the South Korea. Busan maintains a chill atmosphere complete with plenty of cool bars, small boutique, trendy cafes, and sensational seafood. Explore the mountains and sea in the South Korea nature hub, the Busan, while enjoying the mix of modern and traditional with historical temples and cityscapes. So we have three amazing host university to choose from we have number of options to meet your course needs. Korea University, study in Seoul at one of the Korea leading private university that known for studying urban campus on par with Ivy League schools in the US, like Harvard or Yale, Cornell. So here students will have opportunity to live in the vibrant capital city that blend high-tech modernity with ancient culture like no other. While studying a range of courses in English, students will also discover more about life in Korea by pairing with a Korean student over the courses of the semester for an even more immersive and local experience. Hanyang University accelerate your STEM studies at one of the Asia's most cutting-edge institutions. Hanyang University, while experience living in the South Korea capital of Seoul. Geared toward business, economics, and engineering major, this semester program puts you in the center of the leading world economy and the fourth largest in Asia, and that home to high-tech multinational corporates like LG, Samsung, and Hyundai. And Busan University, study abroad in one of our Korea's most charming city, the seaside town of Busan, for a culture-rich and community-focused semester. Dive into Korea culture while studying a leading school, Busan National University, ranked one of the top 100 universities in Asia. Here, students can choose from global studies, Korean and East Asian studies, and a variety of our other courses. So while taking advantage of Busan University inclusive campus. And plus, our students accommodate options are some of highest quality available. You will be living in university managed housing, and most are apartment style. So orientation. So you're gonna have a pre-departure orientation before you're leaving the state, and once you arrive to Korea, you will have bridging cultures orientation with on-site staff like me. So during the orientation, it covers very important information that you need to learn, you need to know while you're in Korea, like visa, health and safety, some very important like academics. Also, while the orientation, you will have some activities. So during the activities, you can learn about Korean culture like naturally, and also you can meet a lot of new teen students and who's going to same school or other program. And let's meet our team. So we have like 7 like staff for whole like Seoul program, and there's 4 of Seoul staff and 1 staff in the Busan, and Crystal is our program manager. So my major role is like I'm a student service coordinator, and my main role is to support you and ensure you have the best time while you're studying abroad in Korea. So whenever you have any problem or question while you're in Korea, I'm the main person to contact. And for Busan students, Yeso is gonna be your main person to contact. So our South Korea team is incredibly robust, and it includes in-country staff members ready to support you from the moment you get off the plane until you're heading back home. So they're always happy to lend an ear or share their favorite locker spots. Also, our on-site staff, like me, also plan excursion activities that included your program fee. So these are a great way to experience the local culture and adventure outside of city and meet other teen students. So funding facts. So are you on out-of-state students. So going abroad may be cheaper than home. Also, do you already use the financial aid? Check with your financial aid office to see if you can apply it to your program abroad. So do you currently use scholarship? You may be able to take your scholarship with you. Have you looked at your budget to consider getting a job and saving beforehand, or asking your family fund instead of gifts next holiday season? So the next step. So what next step if you haven't applied? I'm strongly encourage you to set an advising appointment. Our team can help you narrow down the options, the program that fits your needs. So Sarah is dropping a link right now in the chat room. So if you like to book an appointment with them, please check it out. So once you choose your program, you will need to apply with us as well as your home university. Be sure to stay in touch with your study abroad office along the way, as they can really help you through the process as it related to your university. So once you apply, your program manager, like Crystal, will be there to answer any question you have along the way. So advice from the alumni. If you are just starting out or already enrolled in your program, we think it's always helpful to talk to someone who's been there and done it. So we are happy to connect you with one of today's panelists or someone else from our alumni network to answer your questions. Sarah has also dropped the link in the chat room, a form you can fill out to be connected directly with one of our alumni. We are also happy to connect you with someone that share a similar identity to you if you want to ask them about their personal experience and advice. So my presentation is like everything is here. So let's meet our panelists. So let's meet our alumni who are first-hand experience with studying abroad in South Korea. If you've been holding on to questions, now the time to toss it to chat. Shamalia, can you introduce yourself?
Yes, hi, I'm Shamalia. You can call me Shami. I am a senior biology major here at Harvard College in the US. For last summer, I went to Hanyang University, one of the best experience of my life. I have to agree with Eric. It is a lot being a senior, but like, I'm really, really, really happy that I got to travel within my year.
And our last panel, and Anika.
Hi guys, my name's Annika. I am a UC Irvine alumni and I studied business economics. I am also the current alumni relations coordinator here at ISA and TEAN, and I studied abroad at Korea University in spring 2022.
Thank you. So all right, let's start easy one. So why did you choose the Seoul in South Korea? So Anika, can you share yours?
Yeah, so I knew I always wanted to study abroad in an Asian country, and my top two choices were South Korea or Japan. Due to the border closures at the time, I was unfortunately unable to go to Japan, but I felt that Seoul would be a better choice for me anyways, because at the time I had an interest in pursuing marketing for either a gaming or entertainment company, which South Korea has been proven to be successful at on a global scale. So I wanted to see what their mindset towards that was, along with learn from the professors over in Korea. In addition to this, I also majored in business economics, and South Korea has a very impressive history regarding their economic growth. So that was an added plus for the required courses I needed to take for my home university.
Okay, thank you. What about Shamalia? Why did you choose Hanyang University or Seoul?
I'm actually quite very different. It wasn't planned for me. I just like went to like my global ed office and I was like, well, I have nothing to do for the summer. So you should give me something to do. And they had mentioned the program in Korea, and South Korea has been one of the places I wanted to travel to for a very long time. So it was like quite spontaneous for me. And I was just like, yeah, I'm going here. And I think I picked mainly Hanyang because like I love dancing, and they had given me the opportunity to learn traditional fan dance there. So
Okay, thank you. And Eric, can you share?
Yeah, so for me, I was kind of similar to Annika. I knew that I really wanted to go to Asia and get in touch with my roots. And kind of similar also, I'm Chinese and I wanted to go to China, but the borders were also closed. And I knew that Seoul is one of the craziest cities in the world, as Choan has said. So I knew that the experiences would be similar, and that a lot of the different cities across Asia share a similar heritage, even if it's not the same exact country nationally. And it definitely was that experience. I learned a lot just living in a metropolitan area, which is something I'm also used to, being someone that's from Boston.
Perfect. So even after you decide where you want to go, so studying abroad can be a little daunting. So Eric, so what were something you worry about before leaving?
I think one thing I was definitely worried about was the language, like 100%. I remember being there on like the third day and I was sick because I couldn't get where I wanted to go. I didn't know how to use anything. I couldn't contact anyone and I was just mad. I was like, how am I here right now? And how are the next 3 or 4 months going to be for me? But that's definitely something that I got over, and I'll probably talk about that later. And I see someone already asked a question about language. I know a lot of you guys are probably worried about language. So that's something that we'll talk about probably later in the panel, but I think language was something that was really big for me, and also not being away from my family.
Right. What about Anika?
Yeah, as Eric said, I also had some worries about language, which we will talk about later. But other than that, I think at the time I was mainly concerned about if my program would be canceled due to COVID at the time, along with if I would catch COVID and be restricted from taking my flight. I believe that shouldn't be a major issue anymore for future students going abroad with us. But other than that, I feel like TEAN was really good at getting me ready within a good amount of time to spare in case any important documents took longer to obtain.
And
Yeah.
Jamalia, what about you?
For me, my school, before we travel, we had to like do like a little meeting about everything that we were supposed to expect while going there. But my school was like, you're Black, you can't blend in anywhere in South Korea. And like for me, I was very worried about that. I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna stand out. How am I gonna blend in? Which was really funny because I went to Korea with blonde hair. So that was one of the stuff that I had a fear of going across there because I wasn't sure what I was gonna expect with like my cultural background. However, later in the panel, you will hear about that experience. For me, it wasn't as scary as I thought it would have been. And I would have to agree with like the COVID situation. I did go there when we were like kind of post-COVID, but still in COVID. So like we were still worried about whether like flights would get canceled. However, mine didn't. So like that was a really good plus for me. So yeah, I think those are like my two big ones.
Okay, thank you. Culture shock is a real thing. So sometimes navigating your program identity can be tricky in a new and unfamiliar place. So, Anika, so what did you expect, and now did that change?
Regarding culture shock, no, I didn't really have much culture shock because I did my research before then, but I did feel a little awkward being an Asian American. With the COVID mask on, I do kind of pass as a local. And so when I was out with my friends of different ethnicities, a lot of times like the waitresses would speak to me in Korean. And unfortunately, I did not do the work beforehand to learn Korean. So I felt kind of like bad for not knowing the language. I felt like I should be doing better going into a different country, and expecting to like get along without knowing the language was hindsight. But it did inspire me to get a move on with my language learning, and that was very possible with the Korean language courses that I took. Also, in addition to that, I am a big gamer at home. I do play a lot of video games, and it was very cool being able to experience the PC bongs near the Korea University dorms. It was super cool because you can order food while you game and play on Korean servers, which is known to be more challenging than on American servers. But of course, because I was in a different country, I didn't want to spend my entire time abroad there, but it was still a good experience overall.
Right. Yeah, PC bang in Korea is crazy. What about Eric? Like, what's your experience like navigating your identity while embracing the culture around you?
Yeah, it was kind of similar for me. Like, you see me and you can see that I'm Asian. So that was kind of something that I had as a benefit. If I didn't talk or if I didn't say, and yeah, if I didn't talk at all, people would maybe assume that I'm Korean, but if I did talk, they'll definitely say, yeah, he's American. And also, one big thing I noticed when I got there was how I was dressing and how that was also inciting some people to stare at me. But at the same time, looking at hindsight, people are just honestly curious because they never saw someone just like that before. So that was kind of a big thing. Anytime I would kind of get stared at, it would kind of be a daunting situation. But as time went on, I went on to understand that it's just interest rather than someone that's trying to put you in a bad situation. And yeah.
Okay. What about Shamalia?
I am very opposite from both of them. But however, I do have to agree with Eric. I did get like a lot of curious looks. And I actually remember one of my teachers, because I changed my hairstyle while being in Korea. And actually one of my teachers came up and asked if they could touch my hair. So like it was mainly out of like curiosity than anything else. And like, I feel like because I went there with like such open-mindedness, I was able to like allow for them to be curious around me in a sense. Because I did get stared at a lot and like I had to like learn how to adjust to the stares. But for me, I genuinely just stood out. Like I couldn't blend in any circumstances at all. So like it was really interesting. And like I did do a little research about there beforehand. And like I tried to learn Korean before I went there, but like I didn't know the language at all. So that was like also a big challenge because like a lot of people came up to me and like they were trying to talk to me to ask questions, but like I just genuinely had no idea what they were asking me. However, I did meet a friend that also traveled with TEAN that could speak Korean. So whenever she was around me, like she would translate a little bit and I'm like, oh, okay, yes, I can answer this. And like I will answer and she would translate what I say. But like that was for me, I think it's like a very big thing to go there like very open-minded, because like the more open-minded you are, the more you learn and the more others can learn from you in a sense.
Thank you. Because still in Korea, there's like 80 or 90% are Korean. So they're very curious like to like foreigners or international people. But it's getting like a lot of like travelers, and then international marriage is getting popular. So there's like other foreigners is range is very like getting higher. But they're no offense. They're just curiosity. Okay, so all right. So let's talk about the making friends. It's very important. So this is the concern we hear from students each and every year. And if you're looking to make a friend with a local, the language barriers can be tough to overcome. So, Eric, what advice do you have students looking to make a friend with their classmates?
Yeah, so first things first, I always tell people to not really worry about making friends, especially, well, I'll start with the American side. With TEAN, you go with a bunch of other Americans and you end up living in an international dorm. So those are people that also speak English, and everyone there knows nobody. So everyone there is trying to make friends. It's kind of like the first day of freshman year. Everyone is just really being super nice, like probably more nice than they should be, because everyone's trying to make friends. But on the other side of that, making friends with Korean people, I'm someone, I play a lot of basketball, so that's kind of a different way. That's kind of a language in its own because it's a sport and it has a flow and everyone understands the game. So that's one way I was able to make a lot of friends, basically just following my passion, doing what I like, and people that like similar things. And also when you're good at doing those things, people, you get along with people. And also I took English classes, and at KU, they require Korean students to also take classes in English, probably one per semester. So, and in all those classes, they were group work. So in those classes, I was able to also make friends with Koreans who also speak English, because the biggest thing from that prevented me from making friends with locals was the language barrier. So I kind of had to seek out locals that could speak English. But I was very successful at it, I would say.
What about Anika?
Yeah, so like Eric said, it is kind of, again, like freshman year dorms again. And in addition to that, TEAN also created a group chat on Kakao Talk before we went abroad. So yeah, before we even went abroad, everyone was in one big chat and chatting away. I personally am not a big group chat person, so I didn't participate much, but because we were all quarantined into the same hotel prior to moving into the dorms, it was easy to meet other TEAN students there once we were released from the quarantine. But I think when it comes to friendship, this is an aspect where I think TEAN really set me up for a meaningful time abroad, because I was able to take a lot of classes with both local and international students. So it was really cool getting to meet other students from around the world, such as Indonesia, Hong Kong, Japan. And I had no problem becoming more acquainted with them, as most study abroad students have the same mentality of wanting to meet more people and experience more cultures. When it comes to making local friends, I do think it is a bit harder if you don't know the language or make efforts outside of the classroom. I did take English speaking classes, but I feel like Korea University students, they're more focused on the academics rather than making friends in class compared to back home in the States. But most of the local friends I was acquainted with were the ones who were more interested in international cultures and learning English. And so if you end up joining clubs on campus, such as Korea University's buddy program or one of the language exchange clubs there, you'll be able to meet those like-minded people. But as long as you're like making efforts to be friendly and respectful of the culture, you will pretty much have a good experience.
Thank you. So Shamalia, you may be different, but because like mostly the classes in the summer, it has a mostly international students. So what about you?
For me, it was really, really hard actually making friends with local people. I think the most time that I end up like speaking to actual local persons was when like we go out to like dinner or like little like pubs area, and that's how like I would like have conversations. But like it was also really hard because like I didn't know Korean. I only know how to say like hi and probably bye. So I would just be like hi, and then I'll just disappear, because like I didn't know how like to keep an actual conversation. But like I think mainly because so many people were like kind of curious about me, like it was like more of an effort from them talking to me instead. But like I did not have like a lot of local friends. I think I only like genuinely had one, and we lost connection. So I did, however, had like a lot of international friends. Like I think being in the same circumstances of not knowing the language and just like when going out there and just like being there really brought us really close to each other. And like we did have a team group chat on Kakao Talk, so like we were talking like weeks before. So like actually like meeting each other in person, like we were all like really excited. I remember like going to the airport and like meeting the persons I've been talking to for a week, and they just started screaming out, and they're like I was like, oh, okay, yeah, nice to meet you too. So that's like very interesting. And like I actually met persons that didn't do team program that came from Indonesia. And like I actually do have an Indonesian friend right now and hoping to go to Indonesia, fingers crossed. And I think that was really cool because like they could speak a little English, and like being able to like get their background of how they came to Korea as well was like really interesting. And so I feel like you're going to make friends even if you don't want to make friends, in a sense.
Okay, thank you. So the teen orientation, so can be a great way to make a friend. Like so our bridging culture orientation, you can meet a lot of other teen students. So what's your favorite part of the orientation? So start with Anika.
personally, my orientation was online and we were in the
Right.
quarantine hotel, and the quarantine hotel did not have great internet. So I actually didn't fully attend that, but on the portal, there were a lot of helpful documents with getting me set up with all the important apps and navigating my way around getting subway cards and all that.
Yeah. What about Eric?
Yeah, it was the same. Really bad Wi-Fi, couldn't attend, but still was able to get it by just fine.
And Jamalia?
For me, mine was also online. However, I did not have bad Wi-Fi, so I was able to attend fully. And that was interesting. And also when I went to Korea, Hanyang actually gave us like another orientation, like where all the international students were there, and like they did like a whole dance routine stuff, and I really enjoyed the whole Hanyang dance. I don't remember it right now, but like I really enjoyed that. I feel like they had a picture of me doing it like mid dance like this, but like that was my favorite part because like it was really interested. And yeah, I feel like the orientation for me was like a lot of information thrown at me, but like it was like a lot of information that I really needed. Cause like if you're like me and just like quite spontaneous, you probably didn't do any sort of like backup plan. And like just being that orientation, like everything I was like second guessing about was answered in the orientation.
Yeah. So once you settle in, were you able to explore the other cities like out of Seoul? So any advice for students looking to do this? So Shamalia, like, did you explore any like cities?
I didn't really get to explore a lot of cities that I wanted to. However, I did go to Busan and Seoul. Those are my two cities. I went to Busan with like the TEAN program that they give there. And it was really interesting because like we got to like travel to like a lot of different places. I remember being at the beach and it was like really nice. The hotel that we went to in Busan was also really interesting, and we had like breakfast there. It was really nice. So like I say, like if you have a chance to, definitely go to Busan. Cause like for me, especially for summer programs, for me, like most of like the young people were in Busan in the summer, and like being able to like go out in the night to like a photo booth, like you get to like meet a lot more local persons there.
What about Nika?
So I did go on a handful of the teen excursions, which was very helpful for me because it gave me some ideas on where to go when I was a little lost. And it was also good to capitalize on this opportunity because it was included in the program cost. And thankfully, the first group of people I kind of fell into friendship with had a lot of places in mind they wanted to go. So I kind of just tagged along with them to a lot of music festivals and concerts. I also did plan trips with my friends to go to Busan and Jeju. It's pretty much the same as like planning any other vacation like within America. You just need to do your research online as well as plan in advance.
And what about you, Eric? I know you like travel a lot.
Yeah, I also wanted the excursion, so that was a good way to hang out with other teen people and make friends and learn more about the Korean culture. But on a couple of weekends, I ended up taking the Korean bullet train and going to Gangneung. I'm definitely saying that wrong. It's on the East Coast, and I basically went to the beach, and it's beautiful. The water was super clear, super clean. It was lit. And basically the bullet train, it was a day trip as well, so I didn't have to spend that much time. And it was very affordable as well, probably like $20 to $30. And I was able to eat a lot of seafood. I think I went to a crab buffet and I was just eating crab back to back until I didn't feel like eating crab anymore. It was crazy, but it was a really good experience and only took one day.
In South Korea, the traveling is really accessible. And it's like almost like COVID is like ending. So now it's more like accessible than before. So all right, so moving on to the serious but very important topics, academics. Campus life and coursework can be pretty different from what you used to in the States. So Korea University is one of the popular schools and is the top 3 university in South Korea. So Eric, what was it going to KU? Was it hard or?
Yeah, so I had did 3 upper level business electives. One advice I was giving to a lot of people, prospective students, is to do gen eds there, save your gen eds for when you're abroad, because you're going to want to hang out and just chill every single day. You're not going to want to go to classes and do homework. And that's something I felt while I was there the whole time. I was like, damn, like, why am I doing homework right now? But at the same time, the classes were very manageable and I got a lot of requirements done. Which translated very nicely to my diploma, my business diploma. And I would say that the classes could possibly have been even easier at the KU Business School. And I was still able to fulfill those upper level requirements. But overall, the classes are very enjoyable. It was cool to be in the classrooms, like the literal castles that they have on campus. It's crazy. And it helped me solidify some relationships as well. Once again, the group projects in every single one of my classes, you have to do those. So it's just another way that you're going to be communicating with other Korean students. And honestly, looking back, it allowed me to really make the most of my time because I really had to manage my time every single day and make sure that I got everything done so then I could go out and chill and have a good time.
Anika, you also went to KU. So what was your experience like there?
Yeah, like Eric said, it was a bit difficult because I went abroad in the spring of my senior year. I did have to take some very specific upper div economics classes, and they were extremely stressful, along with some of my local classmates, or basically all of the local classmates were very serious and hardworking. So I think that seriousness transferred to me as well. I felt like I shouldn't be slacking with all of these Korean students being so hardcore about school. But even though all the classes I took were English speaking, there were sometimes still difficulties with the language barrier, being that they spoke perfectly clear English, but they meant something other than what I comprehended from them. So they would ask something and I would answer something completely different. I think the exams and gradings were pretty strict for the classes I took specifically, but I did pass all my classes and was able to graduate. So no complaints from me there. And despite all that stress, I think when it comes to the phrase work hard, play hard, I was able to play hard more than I work hard, despite all the stress that I went through.
Okay, thank you. And what about Shami? Like, you went to Hanyang University. Like, compared to Hanyang and your home university, what is the differences?
For me, I'm actually very different from both of the other finalists. I was smart about it. I was like, nope, electives, please. Mainly because I'm a biology pre-med student. I felt like I should not be taking any type of chemistry or biology in Korea. I was like, I actually wanted to take organic chemistry there. And like my global advisor was like, absolutely not. Like, you're not doing this to yourself. And I'm so happy I listened to her. Like, I feel like I would have just cried if I was taking organic chemistry for a summer class at Hanyang. However, I did take Korean language intensive. And I did do like the traditional fan dance. So like for me, if you're gonna do like a summer program, I say really stick to at least 1 or 2 classes. So like you have like your nights free, because like most of like activities like for young people, it happens in the night. And if you want like to like go out and do stuff, like keep your nights free, because most of the time students that actually international students that you're going to be living with, they're going to be like, oh my God, are you free? Like, I'm going here, 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 here. And so like you can like decide where you want to go to. So like I was really quite happy that I had my nights free, because that's how I got to like enjoy like the city life. I did have to take homework because sadly Korean intensive language were like homework every day. You need to know this. But it was really nice for me because every time I go to class, I learn a new phrase. I will go outside and I would say the phrase. Like, I remember the first day I learned how to art water, and I went, I was like, mucho say. I was like, yes, I know this. I'm gonna say it everywhere. Like, I know I will be hydrated, because the one thing I knew what to say was water, please. And so I was really excited. So I'm like, if you're gonna do a summer program, I can only talk for the summer programs. I say try to do electives or try to keep it to 1 class if you're gonna take a class that is like actually gonna affect your GPA for your graduation.
That's really helpful. So, Anika, so since you've graduated, so how's your program impact your career?
Yeah, so right off the bat, I'd say that studying abroad is a pretty impressive thing to have on your resume, especially if you want to work with international companies. Showing that you have that multicultural experience is very valuable. And like I said earlier, I am currently the Alumni Relations Coordinator here at ISA and TEAN. And what led me to working here was actually the micro-credential course that was paired with my program. I believe TEAN offers 4 micro-credentials for the Korea experiences. I only completed one, but that specific class allowed me to reflect more on my experiences and how my time abroad benefited me. Then after the class, I expressed my thanks and interest with the professor, which led to a conversation about job opportunities within the company, which is why I'm here now. I did say earlier that I do have an interest in working with the gaming industry. And although I chose not to go that route currently, I was very excited to learn that World Strides does have an esports in Seoul program, which is a 2-week program held in the summer. So it has been an opportunity that I've been very excited to work on, as it combines my love for Korea along with my love for gaming.
Okay, thank you for sharing. So for our audience members who have already applied, so there are a few documents and deadline that you will have to adhere to. So Eric, so do you have any advice on staying organized or how to navigate this process?
Yeah, I think the application process, honestly, I don't really even remember too much about it, which means that it wasn't that hard. You follow the dates, you follow the guidelines, you listen to what your advisors say, and you should be good. But I think one part that I was worried about was the money aspect of it. And I was able to apply to a couple scholarships, the Gilman and the Freeman Asia Scholarship, and that allowed me to basically go to Korea for free. And it's very good for my first-gen students and my students of color, and also my students that come from possibly a financially unstable background. And it really allows you to have more options, especially when it comes to living abroad and spending money over there. I could probably talk more about that later if someone has any specific questions.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Also, sometimes convincing your parents or guardians can be toughest part about the going abroad. So tell me, how did you break the news to your family?
I feel like I'm like the worst person to ask that question to, because I didn't break the news to my mom. I just call her up. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to Korea. And she's like, what? And I was like, yeah, I'm going to South Korea. I think she didn't believe me until like she saw me actually like pay for the tickets to go to South Korea. And she was like, oh, you're really doing this? I'm like, yeah, I'm going to Korea. And so I would say, don't do that. I only did that mainly because I'm someone of color and their culture is quite different. And if I had told my mom beforehand, I would be like, are you crazy? Why are you going to Korea? Do you have money to go to Korea? And so I didn't want anyone to talk me out of the experience. So I was just like, yeah, I'm gonna do everything and then I'm gonna tell her. So I will say, don't do that. If you have parents that are like fully gonna be like, yeah, go study. Be like, I'm planning to go here, here, and here. Like, have that conversation, let them be a part of it. I feel like that would have been a lot better, because then half the stress would not be on you alone, because then you can like ask your parents like, oh, if I do this, can you help me out here? If I get like that scholarship to pay for this, would you give me like spending costs, like stuff like that? So like, I feel like you should have a conversation with your family. However, if you're exactly like me, I would say do everything and then tell them so that you get to go either way.
It's really good tips for like okay. Sorry. Is it 2 weeks before you leave? Your paperwork are done and you're ready to go. So Anika, what's the last minute prepare that you did?
So I am an overpacker, so I did bring some pre-approved medicines to Korea. There are like specific ones you're not allowed to bring, but this turned out to be a valuable thing for me because although it's very easy to buy over-the-counter medicines in Korea, the dorm you'll be at in Korea University is on top of a giant hill, which is not fun to walk up and down if you're feeling under the weather.
So checking your packing list is a great recommendation. So, and it's something we always get questioned about. So Eric, what one thing you wish you'd pack?
One thing I definitely wish I didn't pack. I brought like 8 pairs of shoes. Like that was crazy. Yeah. So my advice to myself and to anyone that's going abroad, especially when I think I had 2 suitcases, so 2 50-pound carry-ons, and then or 2 50-pound check-ins, stacking suitcases. And then I had a duffel bag and then a backpack. So that's literally all I had. And I don't know why I brought 8 pairs of shoes, but pack less so you can buy more and experience more and come back with more, because I definitely wish I came back with more. And and just a little tangent about that. Korea is really big for ginseng, and my mom really wanted some ginseng. But since I had packed 8 pairs of shoes, I couldn't only buy 2 boxes of ginseng, and I got yelled at for that. So yeah, you're gonna want more space because you can basically buy anything that you really need over there.
Yeah, we also recommend students just come to lightly and then go like heavily. What about Jamelia? What's something you brought but you didn't use?
Everything. I think I'm like a little bit worse than Eric. I genuinely had like a suitcase that was for shoes. That was, you don't do that. However, I didn't bring like a lot of clothes, but I brought a lot of clothes. I don't know how to explain it, but like I did. But on the bright side, my suitcases are like really big. So like I could have brought a lot more. Sorry, Eric. I was a genius packer in that case. So I was able to bring back everything that I wanted to. However, I would definitely have to agree, like, pack less. Or pack less, or if you want to pack more, just bring an extra bag and use that extra bag for like a souvenir bag. If like you're like me, I'm like an overthinker. So like when I pack, I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna need this. I'm gonna need this. But like something I like I really wish I brought was hair products. Cause like as you can tell, my hair is like very kinky curls. And they really didn't have much stuff for my hair. And I did take my hair out over there. So I didn't have anything to treat my hair. I actually had to like go to one of their stores and I bought like male gel to help keep my hair. And like, honestly, I still use that gel to this day because thank God it worked. But like so far, it's like the only gel that can keep my hair flat together and it stays. I don't know what kind of magic they put in it, but I love it. But I would say not do that because it could have gone terribly wrong as well.
Thank you for sharing. So, knowing what you know now, so what advice would you give your former self before going abroad? So let's start with Anika.
So the first thing is learn the language. You can definitely get around just fine without it, but it will make your experience more valuable knowing the language. And also, I wish I converted more cash at the beginning when I was at the airport, mainly because the laundry service at the KU dorms and refilling your subway card is cash only. And you can always withdraw at the ATM or local banks, but there are more fees and it's less convenient.
Yeah, cash is pretty still using a lot in Korea. What about Eric?
Looking back, shoot, to be honest, like I'm a pretty happy-go-lucky guy. So looking back, I mean, I wouldn't have done anything different, I think, but I went there also with a goal in mind. I make YouTube videos, and this is a quick plug for myself, but also the very reason why I made those YouTube videos is for students like you guys. I was literally vlogging there as much as I could to show you guys a visual of everything that we basically just talked about, plus more. Because I know a lot of people want to study abroad, but they don't exactly know how it is. And if I had like, I think I made like 25 videos. It was literally a series, chronological order before I went to Korea, in the hotel, classes, weekend, food, like basically all the questions you guys have, I tried to answer over there because I had those questions for myself before I went. So I basically just try to answer all those and show you guys visuals. And I'll put my YouTube channel in the chat. But yeah, I went there with a goal in mind and a mission, and that kind of kept me grounded because it's very daunting to be in a place where you're by yourself. If something happened, no one's pulling up on me, no one's helping me. I don't have any family there. And yeah, having that like kind of goal in mind really kept me grounded at times when I really needed something. So yeah, and I also think that these videos will inspire you guys and motivate you guys too, for the people that are kind of on the border of deciding between whether they're or not they want to go, because it was lit. It was a really lit experience.
Okay, so it's gonna be the last, but not least. So students always talk about a life-changing experience in studying abroad can be. So what was the moment for you that you never forget? So, Shimalia, can you share your?
For me, I think it wasn't exactly like a moment for me, but like I really appreciate like my last week there, because like I never genuinely went there to like think I would create like long-lasting connections. I thought, yeah, it's just a summer. Like I'm gonna go and I'm gonna leave. But like I learned a lot about myself, and I learned to love myself a lot more while being there. And I think that helped me to like actually build like genuine connections. Cause like I remember my last week there, a lot of person came up to me and they're like, I'm so glad I talked to you. Like I was so scared to talk to you, but once I did, I just realized you were so nice and chill. And like that helped me to like build my self-awareness. So like my insecurities went down a little bit. I was like, oh my God, yes, thank you. I was quite happy about that. So like for me, that last week, like actually hearing what people like thought of me while being there was like a big change for me. And it helped me to learn a lot more about who Shamalia is and how she is. And I learned to love and grow there. Like I did like a lot of like spiritual and self-growth there.
Oh, that's really great. What about Anika? Anything you change or you never forget the moment in Korea?
Yeah, like Shami said, I also experienced a lot of personal and spiritual growth, but I think one of the most exciting memories for me was that Korea University hosted a week-long festival, which they called Ypsilanti, where many famous artists as well as performers from the school clubs showed their acts and performed on stage every single day throughout the school week. And it was just a very unique experience and high energy. I felt very connected to not just, I didn't feel like a tourist in Korea. I felt like, oh, I'm a student studying here at Korea University. And at the end of it, the performer Sai was one of the ending acts, and Koreans love him. I knew he was famous, but I didn't know to what extent. And it was like an actual cultural phenomenon, seeing how everyone knew the lyrics to his songs. And it was just a giant sea of like hundreds of students jumping in unison with fireworks and water jets. It was just a movie making experience.
Yeah. So sometimes when you go to the like new country or a new environment, you can like think about yourself like deeply. So what about Eric? Is there anything like you can forget?
Right now I'm thinking about when I went bungee jumping. That was a crazy experience. But I think like I still think back to it today, like trying to make meaning of it all, I guess. I mean, I'm a big thinker. I be thinking about life, but I can just vividly remember so many days, so that I can just tell you like it was a very meaningful experiences. Like it was a very meaningful experience. Like there's so many days I wish I could relive. Like it's actually crazy. So I guess every day was a good day, like for real. And when it was a bad day, you learn from those days. You learn more about yourself, like Anika and Shamalia said, like more of a personal growth and spiritual growth, because once again, you have no one but yourself truly over there. You don't have family, you don't have anyone that you've known for super long, depending on who you go with. So you really have to look back at yourself and realize, okay, I have myself and I can make myself feel great in this moment that isn't so great.
Thank you for coming, and I hope you have a great night.